Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking Bar.
Your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly.
Happy beginning of the week. Welcome back. I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles, and this is Bar Talking Bar.
The bar your mom told you never to listen to, but this is where you're going to find it.
Okay. So today we have the pleasure to have John Garda, and we're going to talk about many things, but the first thing we're going to talk is about you, John. And we want to know you. Also, the audience want to know you. You see the audience right there?
We have a lot of mutual friends in the industry, but for those who are studying in this industry who want to know, we would like to know more about you.
Yeah, that's great. So I got my background in hospitality, actually washing dishes at an Italian restaurant a long time ago.
I think we all started from there.
Yeah. Served, got involved in bartending, fell in love with it. I wound up pursuing a lot of other careers. I had a career in finance for a little while and operations, and then wound up going back to hospitality and fell in love with it all over again. You know, there's very few places you can come back and feel as welcome as you did the first time. And to be able to be expressive creatively, to connect with people almost instantly, and to be welcomed back into a community that's really centered not just on maximizing shareholder profits, but, you know, creating and crafting experiences for people. That was really lovely. From there, I started managing programs, doing beverage direction, general managing. Then I started transitioning into developing a consulting practice that incorporated my background in finances and operations towards developing systems in hospitality to drive profitability, education, training, and that whole experiential piece. You know, there's a lot of steps that go into making a successful bar program.
It is, yeah. Of course, one of them is starting, taking that first step.
100%.
So how long did it take you from doing like the dishes to be a consultant?
So that was a long journey, and there's a lot of different stops. But when I got back into hospitality, I went with both feet. I jumped in. And over the course of about 5 years, I went from getting back into bartending to really developing my own identity at the time, getting some clients, doing some projects, and then I wound up working on the Diageo hospitality program for 5 years, which was a lovely experience. Met some of the absolute best people in the industry, and it really allowed me to connect as a business partner to a lot of existing groups and programs, and that was a fantastic experience to see. And then from there, I've gotten involved with sales and marketing programs and market manager roles and things like that for small brands. And right now, I'm also bartending and doing some consulting. So took about 5 years of dedicated effort to get to a point where I was confident in my offerings as a consultant. But then as soon as you feel that you learned something, you got to throw it out because new technology, new systems, new ideas, new spirits, new everything. And then 2020 wiped the slate clean for everybody.
It did. And we had to start all over again, reset, and start from zero.
It's true.
A lot of us.
It was also, a very sad moment for the whole world, and I feel like not just in this industry, but in general, we were like lost for many months. But thankfully, I think whoever returned to work in hospitality show up that, the passion and love for hospitality and how to be, also helping other people. I remember that there were places that they were giving food for the employees, for the people who don't have a job. So this industry, I think, is very, profitable, but also it's also very helpful for the community. And I feel like having you here with us tonight or today, it's going to be a very good example of like why you are part of this community and what you want to give for others to learn. So in that sense, we're going to start talking a little bit about your nonprofit.
I started thinking, how can I really give back and focus on the things that really helped me and a lot of people I know grow in the industry, which was educational opportunities, human connections, and networking. And then also looking at the landscape today. There is a lot of obstacles for anyone trying to get access to these things. So there's financial obstacles. Like if the only opportunity you have to be in the room with these people is at trade shows like Tails or BCB or Portland or something like that, that's a tremendous obstacle for geography, for financial commitment, for losing shifts and things like that. And it's not an opportunity everyone can take. So I thought to myself, how can I take the technology that we have available to us now and expand that so that we can create something that's accessible and democratizes education and helps drive career sustainability and economic opportunity. So I created a nonprofit. It's a 501c3 nonprofit called In Service Society. And our mission is to help serve those who serve others. And that's us, that's all of us. And the goal there is to leverage technology so that we can have a forever free educational database, so we can have a platform where anyone who wants to educate, who wants to be a part of a community, who wants to be in the room with these thought leaders can, no matter where you are, in real time. And if you can't make it, well, it'll be on the archive, so you can always watch what you missed. And that's really the goal, is to have a space in the virtual world that's just for us, where we can have conversations with anyone around the world in real time about R&D ideas, about best places to go, about what jobs are available, without having to go through so many intermediaries, and to really just create an accessible framework for us to take education, to take the things that we're passionate about, whether it's the bars in our neighborhood, whether it's milk punches, whether it's sustainability, whether it's economic opportunities, or whether it's asking about the big questions that we've been asking ourselves forever. Why do we not have health care as a community? Why are we facing childcare crises? Why are we less protected? Even in New York City, with as many workers' protections as we have, we're still an underrepresented group. We have less formal protections than fast food workers.
Yeah.
And that's not to dunk on fast food workers. It's just, it highlights that there is a disparity between all of the hours that we put in, the trainings that we self-fund, the education that we seek out, and our commitment to a craft. But we don't have any organization or structure that really watches out for ourselves. And as a community, we advocate for everybody. But we have a hard time coming together and advocating for ourselves as a whole.
This project is really, really interesting, and I think it's super helpful, and it will be, I hope it grows as you planted it, but it's very important. Like for example, in my case, I remember before we explode with Instagram and all the social media, there was a moment that the only resource I have, it was to find a job on Craigslist. But other than that, it would be like, who work in this restaurant, who can help me to explain me, if I want to apply for this, what are the skills that I really have to focus, instead of before people will say just lie in your resume and then you will jump and, maybe learn, which is true. It's true, right? People who always says fake it until you make it, but it's a good resource in terms of like connecting with people in the virtual world. So I'm very glad that you came with this idea, and this is your inspiration, but also what are the challenges that you faced before this?
Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges. So I set it up as a 501c3 nonprofit for a lot of reasons. One is transparency. I want everybody to see where the money goes, right? Mm-hmm. Education access is always free. Right now, access to the Discord platform is behind a paywall, which I'll touch on a little bit more later. But that was mostly designed so that we can create opportunities to pay people that help out with the project. You know, if you're a Discord admin, if you're a volunteer, doesn't mean that you can't get a per diem for labor, especially at events or things like that. You know, there's a lot of ways in which we want to create sustainable mechanisms to foster deeper engagement with the community. I am facing challenges in just the fact that it's difficult to do all of this alone, right? I have a fantastic board. Shout out to all of my board members, particularly Ray Tremblay and Jenna Ellenwood, superstars for sure. And even with that help, right, there's a lot of operational pieces that go into it. Like, how do we find venues for live events? How do we help organize social media engagement? How do we develop content? How do we execute all of that? So for the most part right now, I'm a one-man band. You know, I got the drums and the harmonica and everything. I'm doing it all at once. But again, I'm passionate about this. I believe that this is an idea that once it takes root, everyone will have a chance to develop a piece of content that they can share. If you want to be a brand professional, it's an opportunity to develop a seminar and practice it, give education to your friends online, and just be like, oh, hey, here's the thing. If you have questions about how to start a business, reach out to the community. Maybe there are people like myself who have experience with that, right? If you're looking for help with, you know, financial ideas, with access to government programs, things like that. One of the first things we did was partner with New York City agencies, particularly the Department of Consumer and Worker Protections. There's a lot of acronyms I got to keep track of.
I know.
The WCP.
Yeah, that one. And it was fantastic. We found out that they have free tax prep for people in New York City. We found out that they have just an absolute abundance of programs and access. And then, you know, through that, there was a lot of collaboration with other groups that are invested in nightlife that we want to be able to connect people to, right? There's Outsmart, which, you know, endeavors to end violence in nightlife. Dance Safe, which helps also endeavors to keep, you know, a safe environment and access to safe solutions in nightlife. And there's also the Queer Nightlife Community Center. They're doing fantastic work as well, looking at ways to bring education and childcare and development to all persons in the nightlife scene. Just absolute brilliant energy. And there's this huge collaborative effort. The hard part is we are fighting for attention. You know, we're competing against
the big platforms. Like we were discussing this earlier. People know Instagram, TikTok, and all these brands, but they don't know that this platform that you're working with has this vast web of information.
Yeah, so we set up our backbone for the technology on a platform called Discord, which a lot of the kids know it. It's big in the gaming scene, but realistically, it is a super robust platform. It's secure, it's encrypted, it's safe for all of us. And I thought that it was one, it's cost effective because I don't have the know-how or the budget to develop a new app or technology for us to use. But, you know, Discord, it's got no limits on how many people can be involved, which means we can get everyone from across the country, across the continent, across the world to be there, to create content in real time. So just like a WhatsApp group or a text thread, you know, we can send texts back and forth. We can send files. We can share voice notes. But we can also host live seminars. We can host live podcasts. We can host all of that in real time. And we can then archive it on our educational database. So that way, even if you didn't make it, you still have access to it. If there's something that you want to revisit, if it's a seminar on how to build an acids program for your bar, or if it's a roundtable about solutions for catastrophic insurance platforms,
Yeah.
there is a lot of stuff that goes into a robust livelihood, a career in hospitality. And we haven't collectively sorted out a lot of those issues. And I don't have the answers to any of them, to be fair. Like, I'm not the guy coming and saying, come join my platform because I know everything. I know what I know. And I do know that there is no industry I've ever been a part of that is as motivated, passionate, or intelligent and dedicated to helping others as hospitality. So what I'm pretty sure 100 of us together working on one idea could achieve more than 1,000 other people, because
Yeah.
we know how to do things for ourselves, and we also are motivated by the joy of doing things for others. And that's what I want to bring into the space. That's the energy I want to supplant into everybody's life is, here is a safe space for you to engage with your peers and your colleagues around the world in real time at little or no cost to you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like we were talking about this also a little bit before, but I think having in Service Society and Discord, it seems like you can have WhatsApp, you can have a Zoom together, because you can, like you say, mention we can do things live.
And I think that's a good tool to have, especially nowadays, because we do a lot of searching. We do a lot of Google searching. We do a lot of like book reading when we have to find any information. But the fact that if 20 people or 1,000 people can share the same or different information with the same topic is going to be more helpful for a lot of folks at any time.
Yeah, it's real time. And I think a big piece that we've seen, especially in high contrast after 2020, is that the transfer of wisdom, learned experiential knowledge, the things that we all went through to learn everything that we didn't have a platform to maintain that. So many people kept a lot of things in their head about how to run a beverage program, about how to train and develop a team, about all of those beautiful pieces. And we lost so many iconic places, so many bar teams were scattered to the wind. And there really hasn't been a way to organize these conversations. Like, how do we have an organized system of knowledge transfer, of wisdom transfer? Like we use words like mentorship and things like that, but that's a very weighty topic. It's a big commitment to be a mentor and a mentee. Mm-hmm. But if we can crowdsource that and make it open to everyone to kind of participate in the educational space, it also opens doors for introductions. And it's also ways to have conversations about things that are crunchy, right? Like pay. Like, what do people actually make in New York City? Maybe that's something that people should know before they pack up and move here looking for opportunities. What does it cost to live in a space where you're making that money? Are you still able to survive? Yeah. What is it like to be in a place where minimum wage is $2 an hour for hospitality workers? What do you do if you don't have a busy night? That's a scary concept. And that's the reality for so many people in this country in 2025. And I don't have a solution, but again, maybe if we come together and we say, well, this is what it's like here. Mm-hmm. These are the initiatives that have run with the city. Here are people that have been very vocal about it. These are conversations that can start and lead to change.
Yeah.
But it all starts with us.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to save us besides us. We say that we're a community, but a community has each other's backs even in the hard times, not just when it's, the party and everybody's having a hug and a good time and all the booze is free. Or you go to the bar after work and you see your friend and you give him an extra tip because he bought you a drink. Community means that you have to contribute. It's it's a two-way street, you know.
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of commitment in order for it to be a community. And I'm not saying that we have to commit all of our money into some big communist pool, but you know, at the end of the day, like volunteering,
Yes.
showing up, like again, the Discord currently for a flat monthly thing is $8.99. It's less than a beer in New York City.
Less than my Netflix payment every month.
And that's the piece. If that is a campus, right? That's a space we can all connect in real time, no matter where you are. That's not something we can do every day. We can't just be in Mexico City. We can't just be in Paris. You know, there's so many phenomenal programs happening around the world, and we don't need to get that information through PR releases. You know, we love to talk about the things that we're working on. We love to shout out people that are helping, like, and doing amazing things. We are the world's best hype squad is this industry. And I love that. I love it so much. A lot of times, though, like you and I, when we were talking about when we first met, was how many people don't get loud about the problems that we face, about the hard stuff. And I don't know why not. You said it perfectly, you know? These are conversations that you have at the bar, and they stay at the bar, and then you go home, and they don't exist anymore. But you still have that missing piece. The worry, the pain, you know, there's issues in every job. But, you know, again, I think that because of our structure, about the history of tipping, about how this industry wasn't meant to be a sustainable career path because it wasn't built to be one. But we've turned it into one because of our determination and our passion.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it might not look the same in the future, and maybe that's okay. We've discussed how, you know, we've been in the industry for so long, we have a tendency to look back to the way things were. That's everybody, you know. Oh, you know, we used to do this education. We used to do that. That's not the way it is anymore. But at the same time, there was a value. If we remove all the other stuff, what was the gem?
Core.
Yeah, what was that core? And it was about creating your best opportunity to succeed. And that was, I know how to do this. I have knowledge on that. I have connections here. I studied this. Somebody had to be the first to do everything in this industry. Like, you know, now milk punches are ubiquitous, but, you know, back before they were, you know, I remember when, you know, Rocky Abetini was doing all of that crazy stuff with milk punches, and he's built a career off of it now. Such a multifaceted person, but had such a great idea to really help that shine. These are conversations that we can have. These are the things that we can let live in the light that don't have to stay in the darkness, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that's how we can elevate our industry, not just as individuals, but as a whole community.
You also touch a very important point, saying that the community should be together, not just in the good times. And I feel like this platform is super important in terms of Discord. I'm talking about Discord, that it's very important the way you set it up, because then we can find a way of transmit our necessities and ask for help. So I think that's one of the things that you want to talk about, how we can learn to still learning how to ask for help.
Yeah, it is one of the hardest things to do anywhere, is ask for help. Especially when you think people will look at you differently.
Exactly.
And generally, we know that not to be the case, especially at work, right? When you find people that are in the same space, you know, oh, what's that drink recipe? Or, oh, what was the substitution for this? And, you know, we're generally very kind, but we live in a culture and a community where our value is contingent at work, especially on knowing everything and being everywhere and doing everything, even at your own expense. And that's hard to do. And to ask for help, to ask for insight about what your pay should be for a position you've never had before. What does that look like as a real job? Like if you've never been a floor manager before and you sign on for that, you're like, oh, it's 40 hours a week, 5 days, get 2 days off. It's going to be great. Yeah. We all know that that is not true. And
Yeah, sign up for this.
yeah, and it's not because of anything malicious. It's just we've allowed collectively so many things that we wouldn't accept, we accept. As working for brands, working in sales, the amount of anti-hospitality that is given to people in sales and working for brands is a little mind-boggling.
You know, that's one thing that really bothers me. When you go as a salesperson, as a brand or who represents a brand or something, and sometimes they don't give you the hospitality because even if you are representing a brand, if you're not being a guest at that day, a particular moment, whatever reason is, you still deserve to have the same hospitality as if somebody's spending $10,000 to $1. Doesn't matter how much money you spend. Hi, how are you? Be kind to others. That's really simple. And I'm so happy that you say that because we should acknowledge everybody here. Everybody's part of the hospitality.
And that's the craft of hospitality. It's not something that just is. It's not like, oh, here's hospitality. Here's one glass of hospitality. That'll be $20, please.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
And we talk about, going to the dark side of the brands and all that. And it's like, some people need health insurance. Some people need parental leave. Some people need to solve for problems that we have no idea for. And we don't have a solution for them. I would love to have stayed as a beverage director and done all types of creative things. And it just wasn't the path that I found had the biggest impact for my community. To be able to go and educate around the world and create seminars and things that added all types of different value was a beautiful opportunity for me. But, this is a space where I think asking for help is something we have to get more comfortable doing. Mm-hmm. And if we can have a safe space, like a moderated community, that's a great opportunity for us to learn that skill. And that's also where the contributory element comes in. As a group of hospitality professionals, we have a bond that is based on our dedication and our passion and our experiences, But we all bring a unique set of skills. We all bring a unique perspective. And if we can't share those, it's like a big pile of yarn sitting in the corner that could turn into a really cool sweater or something.
Yeah.
It could be something cohesive. But there's a lot of work between here and there. And I need help. So, audience, I see you. If you're out there and any of this resonates with you, I need help. In-service society needs help. We need help with operations. We need help with leads in cities. We need help with conversations on the Discord. And actually today I wanted to announce that we have I guess I call it a scholarship program, but It's lifetime free access to the Discord for anyone who wants to lead a conversation. And we can also talk about what that looks like offline, but reach out to me. If you would like to lead a conversation about anything in the hospitality arena, if it's about your favorite bars in Queens, if it's about Korean hospitality service, if it's about fine dining, anything, reach out to us and we will get you set up on the Discord and we will get you locked in for a lifetime free membership because we want to empower everyone to have a voice. Everyone has something to say.
Yes.
And we want to be the place where you can come to say it.
Yeah.
Just full stop. Having a platform for us that's run by us, where we don't have to rely on brands to get access to education. Not that there's anything wrong with what they're doing, but there is no reason that we cannot democratize education and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we look at this with a different kind of lens. Maybe we develop the specific education that we want. If you need help with that, ask me. I have developed so much education. It's my most absolute favorite thing to do.
Awesome.
So if you want help presenting or doing any of that stuff, just reach out and I'll help you for fun, honestly.
Reach out to John. John's Instagram handles are going to be right down here. The page he's managing also. And every question that you guys have, I think it's good that you're also saying it because, like you say, asking for questions sometimes or asking things, it's hard for people, especially like people from like me. I'm putting myself as an example because sometimes when you get tested, when you get tested in the sense that, let's say you have a test, right? You go to work and you're like, oh, how much do you know about your drinks or your food? Because you have to know these things. But sometimes you forget. So let's say if I want to ask my coworker, how does the chicken is set up, right? I don't know. I forgot. So maybe the way to memorize is put it in there. So I just click in and like, oh, here it is. This is how the sauce is made. I think that's good. Could be also another topic of like ingredients, for example. Like you say R&D.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays we use a lot of kitchen techniques behind the bar. And that's also another thing we can talk about. I mean, there's so many things you can talk about, basically. And that's a really good thing.
Yeah, it's a whole industry. And so much of it is nuance and skills that we didn't get from standing behind a bar, right? If we just stood behind a bar and used what was given to us, we'd all be making the same drinks from the 1920s.
That's true.
Right? There would be none of this culinary agent types of stuff. We wouldn't be worrying about using the right type of knife, the right type of peeler, citrus, washing the citrus. There's so many little pieces. But, that's the thing. There's nothing stopping us from coming together and creating a new, better tomorrow where everybody loves to bitch about how everybody coming into the industry now, they don't like to work or they don't do this.
Who worked last night?
Who closed this? Yeah, exactly. But are we giving them anything to aspire to?
Exactly.
It's like, there's the 50 best and there's the, the beautiful award-winning bars and all of these things. But most of us can't afford to necessarily go there and have that experience, right? So we look at it, but we don't experience it. We see the people, but we're not necessarily connected to them unless we're in the same room.
That's true.
And if we can get in that room and we can make that room accessible to everyone, everywhere, maybe we can come together. Mm-hmm. We talked about the minimum wage earlier. There's a big group called, Restaurant Associates, and they love to spend money lobbying to make sure that they don't have to have a living wage increase for people that work in restaurants. They're not out for our benefit. They're out for their benefit. The economics of hospitality and restaurants is dramatically skewed, between the real cost of food and beverage, the promotional cost of food and beverage, waste. There are a lot of loops, especially when it comes to sustainability and things like that, where we can come together and look at how programs function holistically, how our education functions holistically, and how we can look at things like, how do we manage wasting ice? The amount of energy that goes spent into making ice, heating water, and then burning that ice at the end of the night. There's got to be something we can do about that. I mean, that's wild. You got programs like DeVie that use no ice, and they have thoughtfully considered this, and they're like, this is a thing that we can look at. And they could be leading an entire revolution there. Or equity. How do we use technology and leverage that into vehicles that we can financially come together as a community and all own a piece of a restaurant? If we have this room, if we have this platform with just our connections in this room, we could find the top 10 people to develop a concept, operate a concept, design a beverage program, hire all the best people that we love and know would be committed, especially if they had equity in it. There's nothing stopping us from reimagining how equity exists for our industry, besides the fact that it's never been done that way before. And it never will unless somebody tries it.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in that point, we're talking to find, or like bring in industry peers and share information, right? And try to advocate for the industry, for us as a single person, but also for the community. What about the other side, like who hire us, like how they can be part of this also?
That's a great question. I think that there is a huge disparity between the knowledge base from operators and owners and the people aspiring to get there. There are some absolute rock stars who have really been able to crack the code because they put in the time, the work, the education, and the real sacrifice. Like Evan Hawkins at Romeo's, like that dude's a genius. So much respect for everything that he's done, and he did it his way. And there's so much that we can learn and share as a community about what that looks like in reality. You know, are you really looking to be the face of a program? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But there's no single thing stopping us from connecting with owners and operators. Some of the best conversations I've had, especially about the systems that drive success, come from owners and operators. Like, you know, Jack McGarry of the Dead Rabbit has an absolutely brilliant mind when it comes to setting up successful systems, because the reality is if you could set up systems that are self-running and explanatory and they make sense, it opens up so much energy to focus on the thing that we're here to do, which is to create an experience for someone who's chosen to come and spend money with us.
Yeah.
They could choose to drink anywhere. And that's the thing. You don't have to be everything for everybody. Mm-hmm. And good owners know that. And they say, oh, this is what I would like to create. And this is who I would like to create it for. And this is what I would like to generate in the world. And that's the stuff that comes together to create a really memorable bar experience, whether it's food, drinks, the collection, you know, and that's the beauty of it. Whether you're at EMP or Denny's, right? Mm-hmm. Those are two very different experiences, but they pride themselves on the same thing, consistency, right? That's systems, you know? And that stuff is fascinating to me. That's the stuff that I really love personally. And to that end, I think getting conversations that involve not just owners and operators, but people that work with brands, people that start brands, you know, I think that's where we can really look at how this isn't like three separate branches of our industry. It's all one industry.
So one,
and we can really come together and work together for improved business outcomes, for improved success. You know, like if we're fighting an uphill battle against lobbyists who don't want us to get paid, why are we standing by ourselves? There's a lot more of us than there are of them. Mm-hmm. And if we can come together and raise our voices, even if it's at one thing at a time, how many people can we help? Not just today, but for the industry
in the future.
In the future, yes. Exactly.
No, that's a good thing. If there's 10 other bartenders who are known in the world, who have been traveling, who have the knowledge, and you can learn from them, be a sponge and absorb a little bit of that information. And, you know, from 10 different people, 20 people, how many times you want to read or sit down and, you know, look for information. I think once you have it there, like you say, you can just click and find it.
Exactly. And so inservicesociety.org is the website. You know, the Discord, the way I envision it, maybe it gets there. I really hope it does.
I think it will.
Yeah, this could be our very own cable network with our very own encyclopedia and our very own live community, right? We can host in any time zone live conversations on voice. We can host in any time zone live seminars on video. We can do all of that. And that's the beauty, right? Imagine that you're just getting off your shift and you're in Hong Kong and you're like, oh, let me just check the Discord, see what's happening. And it's, you know, 5 p.m. over here. It's 5 a.m. over there. And you're just sitting down, smoking a cigarette, having a drink, and you're like, okay, let me watch this seminar. And you're like, oh, man, that's fantastic. That's just the piece of information I needed to solve this problem. And it didn't even require you to say anything, right? That's the beauty of it as well. You don't have to put on airs. You don't even have to put on pants. You could just sit at home and engage with people that care about the same things you do. And that's the piece, right? Like, that's why people love Reddit, because if you love doorknobs, you can find 10,000 other people who love doorknobs.
And it's
Yeah, that's
right?
it is
That's-
crazy.
So if we already have the bubble. We have the most beautiful, talented, and passionate people. And we live in New York, and we've been doing this for a long time. So we can text people that are legends in this industry for no other reason that they have been in the same room with us, and we got a chance to connect with them as people.
Yeah.
How can we magnify that? This is where technology serves us, and that's what we need. We don't need to worry about robot bartenders and AI taking jobs. We need to make sure that our skills and our capabilities and our community is as strong as it ever has been. And that's how we make sure the next generation will do even better than we did.
As Edgar and I, we came with the idea of having this podcast. It was because I always tell people, we always talk about something when we leave our jobs. And we always have that conversation that, oh man, I wish we could share it, right? So I really hope that, this episode marks also for you a point that your help is out and they're going to help you. I'm pretty sure. And we can show up for you as a community. And we really like the idea of like learning more. And I'm very happy that we have this connection. And I'm very happy to have you here.
Yeah. And I also want to add something. I want to encourage the guests and the audience to, since you mentioned it's a lifetime membership, the only thing you have to do is probably just enter your email address and you're in for all this information. Why not taking the chance, when it's out there?
Yeah,
And
100%. So we have, right now, if you go on the website, there's 2 tiers. One is the forever free educational archive. Just sign up for that. Right now it's just me updating the educational archive. So apologies if it doesn't update super fast, but life is life. But the other piece is the community membership, which gives you immediate access to the Discord. And with that, if you want to lead a conversation, there'll be a form. I'll make sure that the website is shared here as well. And inservicesociety.org. Look for the form for the lifetime membership scholarship and be a part of the conversation. I'm so excited to see what you all want to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. There's probably like at least 10 people that want to hear the stuff that I'm really excited about on Discord. But you know what? There's probably a lot more people out there that have other more interesting things to talk about than inventory systems and, programming designs and things like that. And that's why I want you to bring it, because you have something amazing to say. And I am so excited to be able to help you say it in an impactful way.
Yeah, and I'm going to add something else, because actually this brings me to an idea. You mentioned you're looking for venues to have all these events, to hold these events. Probably the audience also can, start a chat and say, hey, I have a friend who just recently opened the restaurant, and they, showcasing the restaurant, but at the same time, kind of like building the community within the restaurant. And a lot of the locals are the first restaurant, supporters of your openings. A lot of friends also, because you always do friends and family. But if this can direct, guests to them and also kind of like build this conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's also another idea,
Yeah, so we are looking for, here in New York City, we're looking for a venue to host a bi-weekly or monthly event series. We want to have these conversations where we can invite people into a physical room, where we can also stream it on the Discord. So if you couldn't make it, that's okay, because we've got cameras, we've got friends, we've got microphones, and we can record it for you. So if we want to host a salon where we're talking about big ideas, like how do we reimagine equity in the age of Web3 and DAOs, and when you can open your phone, push a button, and now you have partial stock shares. Why can't we do that for our own community-driven bar programs, right? Or look at revolutionary new techniques that are out there for the way bars operate, like the way Kate's running Happy Accidents in Albuquerque. Not only is she an amazing creative, but she's a fantastic business person as well. She sees opportunities and takes them, and look at how many people she's not only inspired but empowered. Amazing.
I think you use the perfect word there, empowerment. Because yes, it is inspiring, it's educator, but it's also empowering because you're giving them the tools to excel, to be better, to learn, and to, at the end of the day, monetize, because what we do is for the sake of, having a better life. And, what better life it is if you cannot make it, especially in New York, that everything is nowadays so expensive.
The prices keep going up, but the wages somehow keep going down. And so do the tips, which is very strange. But
no, and you know what? It's very. I just remember this that, if you work in the industry, sometimes you have idols, right, or places that you feel like, oh, I have to visit this place, right? And in this case, Dead Rabbit, and you have the manuals in the Discord. So it's like for me, seeing that, it's like, oh. Now I have this opportunity to see how Dead Rabbit is working. I want to look at it. So that's amazing idea, honestly.
Yeah. Jack was kind enough to share the training manuals that they use at the Dead Rabbit to make it free for the nonprofit. So, because again, if we all succeed and we all learn together, it improves the whole industry. It improves the standards of service for everyone. And the other piece, the people that don't want this to be a career, here's what I'll tell you. That's fine. But if you're spending your time at a job and you're not doing everything you can to maximize how much money you make there, then there's no help for you.
Yeah, I think that's also, now that you mentioned that, maximizing. Because sometimes people are limited to the things they can make with what they have, instead of like, okay, so if I get more information about this particular spirit, I might be able to create another cocktail, like that's what I always think about. And if, let's say you have a bartender position, and if you offer a lead bartender position, or if you offer a pepper director, you have the tools to maximize the profit on your own, skill.
If you can learn how to make more money while you're working because you know and can do more, that's number one. That's the tops right there.
And you have the tools.
Yeah.
We're very happy to have you and learn about, especially Discord for me. I'm very like, wow, because I'm not used to that. But thank you so much for coming, John. We really appreciate your time and obviously your knowledge and your passion about it. Very thankful because you're giving this to us and the audience as well. Thank you, Edgar, for another episode.
Another one. And another one.
Another one.
Please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, especially comment because I think this is a good opportunity. Also, as we said, we're gonna put the social here for John, and then you can ask him as much as you can. He's very happy to help you. And
thank you.
Thank you.
And
So
I
much.
also want to thank you, John, for coming. This is awesome what you're doing for the industry. The fact that you take your time and start this nonprofit for all of us, it's just step one. I know there's so many more steps, but I see that this is a great future for a lot of us. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I mean, this is the stuff that really makes it real. I started it because I wanted everyone to experience the joy I had in finding a community and learning together with everyone. And I hope that I will see all of you there.
Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, John.
Bye.